There are 10 bad habits that dog owners need to stop doing. And this first one is causing you to accidentally train your dog to misbehave. You probably know that the best way to train your dog is through positive reinforcement, but many people are actually positively reinforcing their dog's bad behavior. Let's say your dog is barking at you. You're annoyed, so you ask them to quiet down or give them a toy. Well, guess what? They were barking at you because they wanted your attention, and when you acknowledged them, you gave them exactly what they wanted. The next time they want something, they're going to bark at you again. It's an easy mistake to make, but if you want to stop it, you need to get a few steps ahead of your dog. Say they were barking at you because they're bored. To prevent that from happening next time, you could give them a chew toy with peanut butter smeared on it before they start barking. This way, you're meeting their needs before they do something you don't like. Think chess, not checkers. But even if you figure this out yourself, you probably still haven't solved this: letting other people positively reinforce your dog's bad behavior. You have the cutest dog in the world, and when your friends and family come over, they're so excited to see them. But if your dog is excited to see them too, and jumping all over them, but your friends are still giving them attention while they're jumping, then they're pretty much training your dog to keep jumping. This is a tough habit to break, but it is possible. To fix it, you need to control the whole situation before the problem starts. Putting a playpen around a door so your friends can walk inside, but your dog can't get to them, is one of the easiest ways to stop this as you're training your dog to stop jumping. You'll also have to train your friends to not give your dog attention until they settle down. And training your friends might even be harder than training your dog. Another thing you can do is not let your dog get to the point where they're bubbling over with too much energy, which brings us to this next bad habit. For many dogs, a walk around the neighborhood is the only physical exercise they get, and that's not good. It's bad for them because they're missing out on lots of fun and having a healthier heart and joints. And it's bad for you because if they don't get enough exercise, they're going to misbehave. Yes, you can do the basic things, like setting up a play date with your friend's dog, playing fetch, or taking them to a park so they can run around. Or, if you really want to spice it up, you can teach them dog parkour. There are parks with obstacles that they can run or climb on. Or you could set up DIY agility and have them crawl under tables or jump over furniture. But they don't only need physical exercise. Not enough dog owners give their dog a mental workout. We all know dogs are smart, but have you ever wondered what happens if they don't use all that brain power? That extra mental energy is a big cause of unwanted behaviors like barking, digging, and chewing. To give them a mental workout, you can take them to a local trail or field on a harness and a 20-foot leash. This will allow them way more room to sniff than if they were on a regular 6-foot leash. And since smell is a dog's primary sense, this is like going to Disney World for them. I'll link my favorite harness and long leash and some of the other tools mentioned in this video down in the description. But I know going to the park isn't always possible. So if it's raining outside, or you're too busy or tired to exercise with them, you can stay home and give them a puzzle toy, like the Kong Wobbler. These are toys where they have to use their brain to get the food out, and not only do they love it, but it's also mentally exhausting for them. In fact, I only feed my dog through puzzle toys to make sure he gets a mental workout every day. If you've got a Doggy Einstein on your hands, here's a fun thing you can do with them. Instead of just handing them a bully stick to chew on, you can wrap it in a paper bag and hide it in a cardboard box for them to forage through. This taps into dogs' natural behaviors like sniffing, shredding, digging, and foraging, and you'll be surprised at how much it can mentally wear them out and leave them feeling content. If you do decide to give your dog puzzle toys with food in them, make sure you're not doing this next bad habit: overfeeding your dog. I'll be the first to admit, chubby dogs are adorable. I love all the extra rolls and the fluff and their funny demeanor, but let's be honest, an overweight dog is not a healthy dog. They're more likely to experience health problems like joint issues, arthritis, and even a shorter lifespan. But it's easy to overfeed your dog. You might feed them a little too much food at mealtimes, and the next thing you know, you've got an overweight dog. To avoid this, follow the feeding guidelines for whatever food you're feeding your dog, and talk with your vet to make sure you're feeding them the right kind and right amount of food. And then you've got the mistake of free feeding. This is where food is set out and your dog is allowed to eat throughout the day. This can make it hard to know how much food your dog is actually eating, which may lead to overfeeding. Besides meals, overfeeding can also happen by giving them extra food, like treats and table scraps. Now, I'm not saying you should never give your dog treats or snacks. But I am saying that you want to be mindful of your dog's weight when deciding how many and what kind of extra goodies to give them. Overfeeding isn't the only bad habit related to giving your dog treats. There's another one that can cause health problems, but has an easy fix that we'll talk about later. But first, let's talk about a bad habit that can hurt your dog, hurt other people's dogs, and even get you in legal trouble. And that is not keeping your dog on a leash. Okay, story time. I was at my neighborhood park the other day when this guy walked up with his dog. It's not a dog park and it's not fenced in, but he didn't have a leash on his dog. As I watched them walk by, another dog, this one on a leash, entered the park with its owner. The off-leash dog was super cute and friendly and ran up to the dog on the leash hoping to say hi. His owner called out to the other owner, "Don't worry, he's friendly." But it didn't matter. The dog that was on a leash was not friendly, and he gave the off-leash dog a nasty bite on his nose. So even if your dog is friendly, it's always best to have them on a leash out in public because of other dogs, cars, or even them eating something they're not supposed to. Not to mention, if it's your dog that bites somebody, there's a chance you could get sued. Now here's a bad habit that you see people do all the time, and it's usually okay, but it could end up in disaster in multiple ways. But first, if you love your dog and want them to be the best dog they can be, subscribe to Doggy Digs so you never miss any of our future doggy videos. Now, if you're letting your dog stick their head out of the window when you're driving, you're playing a risky game. Even though dogs love the wind in their fur and the smorgasbord of smells, if they stick their head out of the window when you're driving, there's a chance they could get hit by flying rocks or other debris kicked up by the cars in front of you. If you're going fast, a tiny little pebble could do some serious damage to your pup's eye or face. So you might think that going slower is safer. But if your dog smells something interesting outside that they want to explore, you run the risk of them jumping out. There's another bad habit some people have that seems innocent and fine, but can actually cause a lot of problems, and we'll talk about that one in a bit. But here's one that will probably do the exact opposite of what you're hoping will happen when you do it, and that is punishing your dog. We could make an entire video about how punishing your dog hurts your relationship with them and doesn't help them listen to you. But I'm just going to share a simple scenario to show you what to do instead of punishing your dog. Let's say you're potty training your puppy and you catch them peeing on the floor. Some people tell you to rub their nose in it or swat them to show them that it's bad. But if you do that, then you didn't teach them what to do. You only told them what not to do. What they probably learned is that it's bad to let you see them pee. So the next time they have to go, they're going to go in a corner so that you don't see it. Instead of punishing them, it's much more effective to bring them outside, let them finish their business, and praise them. This way, you're actually showing them what you want to do, and you're encouraging them to want to obey you instead of fear you. Now let's talk about the habit most people don't know is bad, but is slowly getting worse and worse. You've probably seen dogs out in public with their service dog vests on, and service dogs do amazing work. But not all dogs with service dog vests are real service dogs, and the fake ones are ruining it for the people who need real ones. Let's say somebody has their dog in a service dog vest, but they haven't really been trained like a service dog. Well, if they go to a restaurant and start misbehaving, people are going to see that dog and think, wow, service dogs are pretty annoying. And the restaurant owner might even think, hey, this dog is annoying my customers. I don't want any more dogs in my restaurant. So the next time the restaurant owner or any of the annoyed customers see a dog out in public, they might automatically assume it doesn't know how to behave and give them a hard time, even if it's a real service dog that has been properly trained. So if your dog is not a real service dog that has been trained by professionals, please don't put a service dog vest on them and make life harder for people with disabilities who actually need a real service dog. And speaking of health, here's something many dog owners do that is not healthy for them: feeding them treats with fillers and artificial ingredients. You probably know that heavily processed treats with a bunch of artificial crap is not good for them. But let's be honest, if you have food in your hand, your dog is probably going to love it no matter what it is. So if you're going to give them treats, then you might as well give them something healthy. You could give them pieces of real meat, like cut up chicken or steak. But if you're not up for the task of cooking for them every week, then there are lots of great treats available to buy. Just try to avoid those with lots of flour, sugar, or artificial coloring. My dog loves these Pure Bites beef liver treats, which only have one ingredient: beef liver. Continuing on the topic of feeding your dog, there are 7 simple things you can do every day to have a calmer, more well-behaved dog. See what they are in this next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.